Lifeless Moon. What is Lifeless Moon all about?
So this was one shout out to Stage 2 Studios. Gave us a review code to be able to talk about this. So Stage 2, I did a little research into the company itself, which I thought was interesting. It's actually made up of like two studios that work separately. One is called Stage 2 Video, which is in Denver, Colorado. They've worked on like short films, PSAs. I didn't check what they've won, but they've won Emmys for some of their like short film work. And then the other half is Stage 2 Interactive, which is over in Seattle, Washington, and they do like science themed like apps and like educational games that you can find on like phones and stuff. They've produced stuff for like museums. They work with like the U.S. Department of Education on some of these like educational tools and stuff. So that was really interesting, and that feeds into this game because this game's kind of made up of assets that had been created for many of these educational tools in the past. So it's a really kind of an interesting, and I think when you actually kind of play it and see it, really clever reuse of pre-existing assets to make a cool little artistic game. This is mostly like an exploration puzzle game. There's some moments where you have to run away from stuff, and then there's some puzzles that you have to solve. I wouldn't say anything that's ever like too difficult. Maybe it could take you a second to clear through. They don't over explain it to you like certain games. Like just call out like God of War Ragnarok, where the characters are like, "Hey, this is how you do this." The second you walk in the room, the game does at least give you the freedom to kind of figure it out for yourself there, which I really appreciate. Um, it is something that's only gonna. This is only like say 2 to 3 hour game. Retails for like $20 on the PlayStation Store. I think it released on the PC and Xbox as well. So I think this is on, and I think the Switch. So I think it's on all platforms.
Yeah,
So you can go anywhere really.
Steam right here, so you can get it on Steam.
Cool.
It's $13.
And they're even cheaper than I was thinking. But yeah, so, I mean, this game, picks up with these. It's like these Apollo era astronauts. They get stranded on the moon, and you start to explore, and very quickly you come up on like a kind of deserted town on the surface of the moon. There's no people in it at all, but it's just like this town from where, and so it starts to be this like kind of weird, almost kind of like an eldritch kind of horror element to it, and the environments start to change and get weirder, and like yeah, you go. I don't want to. It's a short game, so I don't want to spoil like the whole thing and say too much about the places that you explore. But it gets pretty weird and very different very quickly. You'll go into a building and come out, and the entire exterior will be completely different when you go back out to look at it. So it kind of plays with a little bit of the liminal space thing in some really cool ways. Um, I wouldn't say I ever felt like it was like truly scary. More like that kind of, I don't know, like A24 kind of like weird horror where it's never like overtly like frightening in any way. It just is. There's some kind of unsettling nature to the something that looks like it should be normal, but you can tell it isn't quite there. Yeah, so there's some really cool stuff. I think the voice acting here is pretty good. There's a bit of that. Some of the animation, it can be a little janky at times when you actually like see like a human character moving around. Um, for the most part, though, you're only seeing people either in spacesuits or it's the environment at play. So I wouldn't say that's something that's a small criticism, that it doesn't come up like often, or isn't like a major knock against it. But yeah, I think this is pretty cool. I think again, I think it's cool
Damn,
that
that person free falling. Damn, they free falling. Jeez.
yeah, the way you traverse some of these environments and transition between them is really interesting. Like, I mean, you see like forest, like you start on the moon, you see like forests here, kind of like barren rock landscapes, underground caves. It's got a really, I mean, there's city buildings going on there. There's like some sort of giant monster fading away there. There's a whole lot of really cool imagery going on here. I highly encourage people to check this one out.
So it'll be your rating.
I would give this I'd give this like a high tune in. I don't think it like was mind blowing or anything. It didn't tell a story where I was like truly like, oh wow, like this really kind of set like some precedents in any way. But I think it's really good for what it is. I think it achieves what it's trying to do, and it's a nice short experience. The barrier to entry, the price point's very low. So yeah, I give another indie game. I think people should give some love.
Yeah. Out right now, all platforms. You can
Yep.
check it out. PlayStation, Xbox, PC, all that good stuff. Also part of the Switch too, right? I think it's probably on the Switch.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's a platform it's not on right now. So.
Yeah. So people go check it out. I tune in from Sage for Lifeless Moon.